My name is Liao. I am an admissions officer for a university, and I do admissions for a graduate program. We read applications, we interview people. Everyone comes in with their own aspirations to get higher education learning. It is so inspiring to be in this role, to kind of see and to hear what their aspirations are and see how this university really fits into their career goals.
Do you have a mandate of things that you look for? Is there something that I can learn in an MBA that I'm not learning on the job after 15, 20 years of experience? What other aspects of the application do people need to pay attention to?
So my number one piece of advice for someone thinking about getting into MBA is to...
For every podcast episode that I make on this channel, I am out at networking events. I am DMing people on LinkedIn. I am getting rejected time and time again. If you only subscribe to one channel per month, please think of me next time. And my promise to you is I will get out there and find you knowledge worth sharing. What's up, guys? Yasir here. Today we have a very special guest, Liao.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you for making the time. I greatly appreciate you being here. I have a lot of questions for you. I'm very excited to have you here. Let's just dive right in.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
You do a couple of things, right? You read applications and you do interviews. What do you focus more on?
Honestly, both. It's part of the application process, right? They have to interview, they have to write an application. So, it's a core part of the admissions process, and it's fun. You get to meet them face to face over Zoom, sometimes in person, and it's so inspiring to hear and to just see their eyes sparkle when they talk about their careers in the next 5 years and what they want to do. And you start to see and imagine these people in your program, and you think, oh wow, this is great. And you start to imagine the cohort that you're trying to build, and just how incredible that you can bring all these people in from different backgrounds to just really be connected and become friends for their life. So it's satisfying to be part of that process.
To be part of their journey, right?
Exactly, to be part of their journey and just be part of the reason, potentially, how they can build this sort of network.
How much AI do you use in the process of eliminating people from getting into this graduate program?
We don't use AI at all.
At all?
No
AI?
No, everything is super high touch. It's personable, and we want to keep it that way, right? We want to make sure we get to know who you are, and that's why we have an interview process, and it's for sure us, a human person on the other side, to just interview you. And that way we get to understand your story, more human to human interaction, get to know who you are. And it's such a privilege to be asking those questions to these people. And even during the application process, when we're reading applications, we're reading it as a person in terms of what those essays are. And we're reading the story, we're reading those career goals, and it's inspiring. Like every step of the process is always an inspiring touch point. So no AI is being used at all. And yeah, it's just the high touch process for us.
I have a 4.0 GPA. 800 GMAT, and then I applied to said MBA programs and didn't get in. Why does that happen to people?
I can't speak for all of the MBA programs and how their admissions team really look at the application as a whole, but for us specifically, we look at so many different parts of the application. So the interview is the first one, and of course we're assessing your fit into the program and all of that, and we're reading your applications and just how much effort are you putting to the applications, your essays, and just how thoughtful it is. Do you proofread your essays? Do you accidentally name a different school, or just like those things are just being intentional about focusing your intent to be part of this program. So I would say proofreading is very important, and we often see tiny little mistakes here and there.
Is that the downfall? Is that the first thing that like triggers a downfall? It's like a typo on the resume kind of thing that they're like, I'm not hiring this person. Okay.
We understand that people make errors, but we appreciate it if you can put a little bit more effort in just to proofread your application. And that really goes back again to that sort of high touch process that we have. So, I would say that, yeah, it's really just boils down to, how thoughtful how thoughtful and how much time you actually put in the application. And it's very obvious if someone does.
Really?
Yeah, there are people who just send like a paragraph in for an essay, and then there are people who really spend the time to craft a story on their application. And I think that's what distinguishes it, right? There's a difference between answering the question that we give you, and then the other is doing so in a sort of story way, right?
Okay.
We want to know who you are. Essays can get generic, and we can spot an essay if it's been written by AI, and it's pretty easy to do so once you start recognizing the pattern. So that's why you want to understand your story.
Right.
Everyone's background is different, and I think, just be yourself.
Okay, I lied to you earlier, by the way. I've never applied to an MBA, and I don't have a
Okay,
4.0
that's
GPA.
totally fine. That's totally fine.
But I was curious because I know that this does happen to people,
Yeah.
right? Like you hear the stories of like, oh, I was like the captain of the football team and I just didn't get into whatever program that they applied for. So I was just kind of curious as to if there was a reason or thing that triggers that. My next question around the entire process, just focusing on the application piece. One of the things you talked about was like crafting your story. Like I've never actually seen an MBA. I've never applied to get my MBA. What kind? Can you give me an example of a prompt you've seen in the past, and like what is the lazy way of doing it versus the not lazy way of doing it?
Yeah, I think behind everybody's story, there's always that point in their life where that's the light bulb moment, the moment where they decide that this is the right path for me to take, right? So whatever that moment is, it's so specific to that person that it's rarely the same for another person. So we want to understand, okay, what was, what interested you to even start thinking about business in the first place?
Yeah.
Right? And why does going to this particular path, going to higher education, getting your degree, what does that do for you? And I think understanding your personal background, your motivations, your drivers, and just what your aspirations are, and just tying all of that into a cohesive story and understanding how this particular university can fit into those goals would be something that is part of the ingredients, is the recipe for a good storytelling essay. Yeah.
But that's like just the essay part, right? What
Yeah.
other aspects of the application do people need to pay attention to? Or is it just like, we have minimum requirements, check, 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 now woo's with the essay?
Yeah, I mean, we of course we ask for transcripts, right? The population that we're dealing with for this particular program is a lot more senior.
Okay.
So, we're not just looking at your GPA scores and more heavily than any parts of the application. So every part of the application, including the essays, the transcripts, your interviews, your letters of recommendation, all of them are weighed equally in order for us to decide holistically whether we admit you or we don't. So, I think in the interview, obviously do your research. Just be prepared as if you were going to any sort of job interview. You understand and do your research about what that company is, or in this case, which university that is, and you do as much research as you can to be prepared to answer the question, why our university?
Right.
Right. If you're giving some generic answers like, oh, I'm there for the community. I'm there for the reputation of your school. I'm there for diversity, and that's every school. That's an answer that you can give to every other school. I want to know specifically why my university.
Why your school?
Why my school? There are so many talking points about my university that you can certainly talk about, and you can.
That are just unique to your school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's always something about every university that's specific and unique to them, and it's not hard to find what those are that interest you and whatnot, because those same answers about community, about diversity, about reputation, that's every other school that you're potentially applying to.
Right.
So
like they all have a reputation, they all have a community, they all have diversity or whatever.
exactly. So say something specific about our university. At least show us that you're doing some research about it, and just be prepared to answer any of those questions that you would typically answer in any interview.
Do you have a mandate of things that you look for, or is it just you seeing the preparedness, you feeling the connection, you seeing that this person is your university's material?
Yeah, obviously there's that particular side to it where we read an application, we interview you, and we see the fit, right?
Right.
For admissions into our university. But there's also the other side of it, which is, is this actually the right program for you? Right? People can come in with certain career goals and expectations, and typically that sometimes it may not be what our school can offer you. So we can admit you into the program if we see like you could potentially be a great fit for the cohort. But if ultimately there's something that is so critical and important to you that you want from a university and we can't give it to you, then there's that sort of discongruence, right? And if you're investing so much money into university, into your education, you might as well go to a place that actually can provide what you want. So it's always a tough balance,
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that sense, we just hope that the applicant has again done their research about our school before applying, so that they know that okay, this is a school that is right fit for me. It's aligned with the resources and the services that I need in order to excel in my career. So yeah, it's a two-way situation when we assess fit.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing this for?
I'll say about 8 years and counting.
8 years and counting. How many students have you admitted into your program?
Oh gosh, wow. I'm going to say it's upper thousands at this point.
Upper thousands?
Yeah, I would say.
Any student that you've admitted have significantly impressed you after graduation?
Tons of them. I mean, every one of them are such impressive people coming into the program, and they leave the program more and more impressive. So, we've had students, well, we serve a population that's more of a mid-level managers to senior level executives. So,
Okay.
we've seen people rise up to C-suite ranks. We've seen people quit their jobs midway into the program and pursue entrepreneurship. So, there's so many incredible stories out there. And, I'm just honestly very impressed by the way that our students progress in their career. And, whether there is or is not sort of a career advancement for our students, I think they still walk away with a lot of important skills
Right.
as, from the classes. And I think one of the incredible things is having that ability to think analytically in every situation. They'll have the frameworks in order to sort of think about certain problems at their businesses and their organizations and be able to provide meaningful suggestions and analysis. And that's the kind of conversation, that's the kind of input that will give you a seat at the table.
Right.
So I think, people walk away with those valuable skill sets, and, they'll serve them in a really long way to go.
You just see so many people coming in and out, and they are just becoming like these fascinating people on the way out. But just like you said, like they're coming in the door with the most impressive resumes, and they're just like creating, they're using the frameworks that you guys are teaching to like develop into like whatever ambitions they have after the program. How did you end up in this role?
I ended up in my role because I worked for a team as a student assistant, because I was a student at this university that I'm working for now.
Okay.
So I think naturally that was sort of a great transition to kind of coming into the program that I'm working for. So yeah, it's great. I love the school that I went to and also now work at. And just last year I wrapped up my MBA program too. So yeah.
Oh, you just got your MBA?
I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
What was the goal when you got your MBA going in? Like, what's the trajectory for Will?
Getting my MBA has been, from day one, just wanting to get those analytical skill sets to be able to think more strategically about certain things and certain issues that are plaguing the industry, or for our team more specifically. And I think I wanted to contribute more meaningfully into conversations, into our brainstorming meetings. And to be able to do that, I want to think more multi-dimensionally in terms of just not just marketing in a silo, not just strategy in a silo, but thinking about the finance part of it, the the strategy and the marketing and the recruiting and all these different sort of factors that are happening around the world, and to kind of create a more holistic view of where we can take higher education, or where our team can continue to improve, and how can we improve the product, which is dispersing knowledge to people. So I think with that in mind, I would love to kind of do more strategy work. That's something that I'm currently doing, and yeah, absolutely something that I can see myself continue to do with my team.
It's interesting because up until like 10 seconds ago, my assumption was that they locked you in a room and then you like read applications and talked to people on Zoom calls or something. But it sounds like that's not 100% of your job. There's like a whole different aspect of what you do.
A majority of my work is definitely reading applications and interviewing, because that's what we're hired to do, right? We're admissions officers, and we're there to connect with the applicants. We're also there to provide information about our program. So a part of that is to attend and host events where, for example, information sessions or student panels, and attending different school fairs to make sure that people out there are aware that there's another option to sort of look at, which is specifically our university, and to be able to share perspectives from different people from the community. That it's certainly part of our jobs. And I would say a good majority is obviously reading applications, but another part is to connect, right? And I think those two go hand in hand. For me specifically, I also work a little bit in marketing as well. So we do social media for our program, and of course the marketing component as well, and just recruiting and reading applications. So a lot of cool fun projects that get you really excited to work every single day. So it's not really that just sort of routine, go into work and read applications, interview, and you go back home. But there's just so many cool things that we're doing as a university, innovating and really thinking about how to make sure that our students are prepared for the next stage in their career. I think, of course, with the evolving landscape, sustainability or AI, whatever that may be, and we're trying to incorporate all that to make sure that our students are well prepared for the future. The great thing about our program is that you can still audit courses after you graduate from the program as part of your lifelong benefits for alumni.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's incredible. And you have access to short courses for free, and it's quite amazing. So If there's a course that's not being offered right now, there will be courses that you can audit once you graduate. And I think that's a huge benefit.
And that's a lifelong benefit.
Lifelong until you die.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible, actually. I did not know that.
I'm actually taking a course because I graduated from the program.
Yeah.
I am now eligible to take some of these elective courses. So I'm actually going to be taking one next month, starting next month.
What made you want to actually get your MBA, you said? Because I remember you said that you wanted to develop some of the strategic frameworks and like, have some of the skills to help address some of the problems on your team.
In my role being an admissions director, it's easy to ask the questions, right? To ask, why do you want an MBA? But I also think that it's important to be someone who's actually gone through the process of getting an MBA and be able to relate to that person a lot more. So in that way, if they have any questions about an MBA program or what it's like to be part of the community, that you at least have a personal story that I can tell. Right? Because I'm lived there, I've lived it, I've done it.
I've been through the experience that you're trying to go through right now.
Exactly. And because I've been through the whole process, I've gained the skill sets. I can then also provide real life examples of how I'm using those knowledge that I've gained from an MBA at my work to show that there is an ROI that comes out of the program.
Yeah. Who is an MBA for?
It's for anyone who wants to think critically, someone who wants to be able to disseminate information. I always tell this to people who I interview is that the MBA is a transformative experience. It's for people who want to transform. It's for people who want to be an alchemist. And I say alchemist is because we are coming into the program with certain information that we have learned throughout our lives, right? Throughout work. But being part of an MBA program it's about learning, of course, new skills, but it's also about unlearning a lot of things that you have learned. So in a way, it is learning about frameworks, but rebuilding those frameworks to a way that makes sense to you. And in that sense, you're pretty much an alchemist of knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think, and MBA is for anyone who wants to have a seat at the table, wants to be able to contribute more meaningfully in everyday work, whether it may be just in communications and negotiations and strategy, being able to understand the bottom line and what are the drivers of business, just understand more holistically how this world is being run, because everything is a business. Healthcare is a business, even a plant shop is a business. Anything that you can think of in the world is run as a business.
Yeah.
So being able to understand the language of business will help.
I work in business. I'm in finance. I've worked in so many different functions where I partnered with legal and sales operations and accounting and the executives. Is there something that I can learn in an MBA that I'm not learning on the job after 15, 20 years of experience?
You can have all the experience that you have, in your day-to-day job, but the value of an MBA is not just about the things that you're learning. It's also the network that comes with it. Your classmates who work in different industries and the input and the knowledge that they can provide you and the access to their network as well. And not just your classmates' network, but your professors' network, the university's network, and all the resources and the career resources that comes along with the brand. So I mentioned about lifelong benefits, and the MBA is certainly one thing where the value is not just about what you learn in the classroom, but everything else that comes with it. It's a whole package, right? So I would say that you can think you know everything, but the MBA will always humble you with things that you don't know.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of going back to school, right? Going back to what we said earlier, it's about learning a lot of things, but also unlearning a lot of things. Certain things that may be true for a certain company may not be the same model that works for another company.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's a lot about being able to be adaptable with the knowledge that you have and be able to sort of apply it into different situations, into different companies, and that way you'll be nimble enough to be able to navigate some of those nuances of the various business operations and stuff.
Now that you have your MBA, do you think that you'll stay in this role for a long time, or you?
There's always something new that comes up in my roles. There's never a boring day at work. So I am very interested in staying at my current job, and I love being able to interview people, love hearing their stories, and it's always great to be able again to see them be part of a cohort that you created. It's almost like your own little baby, to say it and whatnot. But so it's so inspiring to see them transform throughout the program, and it's one of the things that brings so much joy and fulfillment. But of course, if there are any other opportunities, I would certainly be open to that as well. I mentioned earlier that I'd love to be more in sort of the strategic side of this, and I recently took a course called Strategic Foresight, and I really love that topic. It's really thinking about bringing signals and trends and thinking about uncertainties in the future and just a lot of scenario planning. And I love that sort of aspect of thinking further into the future, long-term planning, and building a strategy that will make sure that your company is resilient and robust in the face of different uncertainty and changes. So that really gets me excited. Yeah, and I'd love to be part of a role that lets me do that. Yeah.
So you've been here in New York for how long now, working in New York City?
Oh, I was born and raised here.
You're born and raised in New York?
Yeah, I'm a true New Yorker.
You're a New Yorker, a true New Yorker.
Yeah.
From where in New York are you from?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn, Bessboro.
Best, oh,
Not to upset your viewers, but
Wow.
Brooklyn's been great.
Listen, I live in Williamsburg, so I'm a Brooklyn boy myself. I've been in New York for
That's a long time.
8 years, I
You're
think.
practically a New Yorker at this point.
I have a New York driver's license.
All right,
so
there it is. You are a New Yorker right now.
You grew up here in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
You went to college here in New York City.
Yeah.
You got your MBA here in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about living anywhere else?
I get asked this question all the time, and I think about it from time to time. And I love New York City for the convenience it has and just the access to people from all over the world. And I don't think another city really ever compares to what NYC can offer.
Yeah.
And there's always so many things happening. There's so many cultures and blends of people, and it's never a boring day in the city. So I don't think I would live anywhere else. But I welcome all the experiences to live somewhere else. But if I had to choose a place, Vancouver. It's such a beautiful place. Vancouver's beautiful. I love the blend of the city and nature, and yeah, it's so calming. I like it.
First of all, I love Canada. Absolutely stunning. Vancouver's amazing. I just went to Montreal last year.
Nice.
I went to a wedding in Mont-Tremblant.
Ooh.
Have you been there?
I'm not.
It's incredible, beautiful. They have an amazing spa up there that is just the best spa in the world.
I love spas.
Like I think it's called like Spa Scandinavia or Scandinav or something like that.
Cool, yeah.
It is like the bee's knees. Highly recommended. 10 out of 10 experience.
Sauna spa culture is huge in the Scandinavian countries.
Yeah, and it's like they took the best of what it is and brought it to
amazing.
Montreal, and it was just like spectacular.
Gosh, you must have had a time of your life there.
Oh God, I was so relaxed. But I was curious to know, like, how were you raised here? Do you have siblings? Do you have your families in the city, or how were you raised in New York?
Yeah, I'm an only child.
You're only child.
Yes, and my parents immigrated to the U.S. from China.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ABC? American born
ABC?
Chinese?
Yeah, I'm glad you know what that means.
Yeah.
ABC. I'm actually impressed.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't think anyone outside of the Asian community knows what an ABC is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you speak Mandarin, Cantonese?
I speak both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And English. Obviously, is your first language, or
I would say Chinese comes first.
Chinese comes first?
Vaguely remember that was part of extra ESL programs.
Okay.
I think they call it ELL now, like English language learners or something. So,
Sure.
yeah, I mean, they change it all the time to be more inclusive, right? Because when back then it was ESL, it was like English as a second language, which may not necessarily be their second
Right.
language.
I could be like my sixth language or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they try to be a bit more inclusive about that. So I think last time it was like ENL, English new language or something like that, but now it's like ELL. I don't know. It's probably something else now, but
Well, now I feel like so. Like I'm not sensitive enough to those who are learning English as their third, fourth, or fifth language.
wow, canceled.
No, don't cancel me. Subscribe.
subscribe to this channel.
So what was it like growing up in New York City, the son of two immigrant parents? Like, what was that experience like?
It was tough, I would say. I think I had to grow up really quickly because I was the only one who eventually knew how to speak English the best in the family. While my parents were trying to learn English, it wasn't something that they could easily grasp. So I think when I say I grew up pretty quickly, it's because I have to be independent and be able to help out a lot with navigating the system in English for them and for myself. So when I went through hospital visits, I had to be the person to translate even at the age of 12 in an emergency room. When I did my college applications, my parents didn't know how to help me navigate the process. So it was just me trying to understand, FAFSA. And at the point you're like a 18-year-old trying to figure out what the FAFSA is, and think about tax returns, but they don't even teach you that in school. And like, oh, what are all these different numbers? And you're there trying to navigate the process, applying to different schools, and it's just so much on you, being an only child as well. So I would say that, yeah, I've grown to be pretty independent, as well as kind of more mature, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you have to be like extremely resilient to survive an environment where you are navigating all of these processes for the first time for anyone in your family, right? Like, I have an older brother, and I'm a child of an immigrant as well, but my mom speaks English, but she could not navigate those experiences for me and my brother. But by the time I was going to college, I had an older brother who had navigated those experiences. And so like it's just you. The whole weight of the world is on your shoulders.
Yeah, I think it's good that I started early because that way I understand the responsibility that I have, and you sort of naturally just grow into that role. Some of these responsibilities become just so part of life that, it doesn't really have that much weight on your shoulders per se. And Yeah, and I'm just so grateful for the people at work, my managers, and they're all very flexible when I do need to sort of take off some days and be able to take care of family and navigating some of the situations in English
Oh, so,
for
so
them.
this is something you still do now?
Yeah, something I do now. It's not like my parents that still understand English to this day. So there's a lot of things that I need to navigate for them, and they're at retirement age and they need to understand how to get retirement benefits, how to apply for Medicaid and Medicare. And, there's always something new at every stage in my life that I'm still trying to learn and help navigate. But yeah, even, going through like hospital systems, right? When a family member needs to go through treatments and whatnot, I have to be there to understand the treatment options and whatnot that they will be undergoing. And yeah, it's honestly such a privilege to be able to help, in my opinion, because I am someone who speaks English fluently and I can help navigate the system. But more importantly, I can help advocate for them from the system. Because
Yeah.
obviously sometimes you have translators, they offer in every hospital, but it's not like they will always have the patient's best interests. Their job is to just to translate,
Right.
And there's always just opportunities for translations going in a different direction.
Yeah, and also they don't get paid to care,
Exactly.
right? And
Yeah.
so like you being someone who like truly deeply cares about your parents, not only can you translate, but you can also think critically on their behalf and ask follow-up questions that your parents may not even be thinking of.
Exactly. But I also don't want to say that the translators don't care. I'm sure some of them do, but
Okay.
I'm just saying that sometimes because of their work, they're not legally able to sort of advocate on behalf of a patient, right? Because if anything happens to the patient, they're liable for it, right? But as a family member, I'm there. I can communicate with the patient, with my family, and we can sort of understand what they need more. And honestly, hopefully my parents and my family doesn't sue me for whatever mistranslation or like misinterpreting things. But I know I'm operating on their best interests.
Yeah.
Whereas someone who translates don't have that same privilege and luxury that I do.
Yeah. How often do you see your family now?
Oh, I live with them.
Oh, you live with your parents?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah.
What's that experience like?
Honestly, it's so good. You save up on so much rent, and they're such amazing cooks, and I go home always well fed and just well loved too, I would say. So
Oh my God, that's so warming.
it is, and I get to see them every day. And again, that's also another privilege, right? Your parents are always getting older day by day, and I just feel like
How old are they now?
they're 60s, in their
60s.
yeah,
And how old are you?
30s, in my 30s,
30s?
in my 30s.
You're not
yeah.
even gonna say the number, you're just gonna drag that out?
Hey, I don't need to be specific with the numbers. Just 30s is fine. 30s is fine.
Well, you look fantastic for being in your 30s.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But
You too.
for now,
God's got to compliment guys.
what did they say? They say that the first time men generally receive flowers is at their funeral.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
I know. Wait, can I tell you a story?
Yes, please.
My uncle had his birthday earlier this year, and we got all of the kids decided, that includes me, we decided to buy him flowers.
Oh.
And we gave him flowers, and he's just so old school. Like, he was just like, man, get those things away
Oh
from
my
me.
gosh.
And I'm like, dude, you gotta like break that like cycle of masculinity and
100%.
just like enjoy having flowers. But he's from a different generation. They're just
Yeah.
different, Like if you gave me flowers, I mean, you can see I have flowers all over the place.
I certainly do.
I have a whole garden in here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think it's nice. It's sweet.
I think it's nice. I think men getting flowers is something that should happen more often.
Couldn't agree more.
That's my hot take.
I don't think that's a hot take, but it's a very sweet take. I do want to circle back because
Yep.
I love talking about money.
Okay.
And you're saying that you live with your family now. Do you pay rent? What's your rent situation looking like over there?
Yeah, I chip in for rent.
You chip in.
Yeah. So, that way it's not just entire responsibility on me. And I think with Asian parents, they typically don't want you to spend money, right? Because they want you to save up your money, build up your wealth, so that you can kind of do things on your own. So I think Asian parents, at least my parents, are selfless in that way.
Yeah.
So I'm really
That's
grateful
really
for that.
that's really sweet of them.
Yeah, but I also think that because obviously I'm living there, I have the responsibility to pay as well. So I think it makes me feel better that I'm not just like smooching off my parents in
Yeah.
my 30s. You know what I'm saying?
What kind of financial lessons did they bestow on you growing up?
Yeah, honestly, I think they're good with their finances, but they've never really had those conversations with me about finance.
Okay.
So things about even trading stocks or interest in banks, opening up a CD or things like that, or even buying bonds or whatever, they would be able to take care of that on their own because they obviously have a bank system here in Chinatown where there are financial advisors who can speak Chinese and they're educated in that way. But they've never really grown to sort of talk about finances
Okay.
for some odd reason.
With you?
With me, but in general, I don't know if this is like a taboo thing that Asian households have, but we just don't talk about finances.
You don't talk about money.
No, we don't.
So if your parents didn't teach you about money, how did you learn about money?
Just doing your own YouTube research, right? Obviously learning about 401ks and things like that. So you just gotta learn on your own, gotta hear from friends.
Yeah. What do you do to save and invest? What's your strategy?
To save and invest, I usually try to make sure that I'm not overspending on
Okay.
a monthly basis. So I try to make sure that I have a certain budget on a month that I'm allocating to hang out with friends and just go out to eat, and maybe just for activities that I like. So recently I've been into climbing, so I've gone to bouldering gym, so I have to set money aside for that. So some of those activities and so forth. But I make sure that I have enough in my savings that I
Right.
need for emergency money. But I also set aside some money that I use to invest in stocks and diversify.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a 401k?
I do.
Do you max that out every year or like?
Yeah, yeah. My employer also provides a matching percentage to it
Okay.
too, so it's been great.
Like 100% or
No, I would
6%?
say
What is the
around
matching?
there, around there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's good. They match my percentage and they also double that. So
Oh.
yeah,
So it's very generous.
it's very generous.
So you're maxing it out every year.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of people. A lot of people don't max out their 401k.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
you
just
should.
get they contribute up to the match and then they stop.
Oh,
And then you also invest.
yes, I do.
What's your investment strategy? What are you looking at these days?
It really is about diversifying across different industries, I would say.
Okay.
So not putting all my money in one particular industry. Like not all in AI or all in financial services or all in pharmaceutical companies, but really doing your research in terms of different companies and see what values align with you.
Okay.
Well, for me, I don't want my money going to a place where it's at a company that's creating negative externalities for the world.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's certainly looking into the company's value statements, looking at, of course, you got to be able to earn money with that too. So it's all about looking at the bottom line and but also having a company that has purpose and
Yeah.
also is doing good for the world.
That's so interesting. I hear a lot of people talking about ETF investing. So they just buy like a S&P 500 index fund. But you're talking about like individual companies, individual stocks.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there
I
any
don't
company?
invest in a lot of different companies, so it's just I keep my portfolio.
Is there
small.
any company that you have conviction in over the next 10 years? This is not financial advice. This is just us having that informal conversation.
Honestly, I don't know if I'm a good investor. I'm like dipping in the red
You're
zone.
dipping?
I'm dipping in the red zone because I bought a stock many years ago at a really good value, but then it dipped a lot. So
What stock?
NIO.
What is that?
It's a EV car company
Oh,
in
okay.
China. So that's dipped. So I'm a little bit in the red, but I think it'll bounce back eventually.
Okay, define a little bit in the red because I have some stocks where I'm down like 90%.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, why do I sell? I'm just gonna hold on
Oh.
to these things. I'm so screwed anyway.
For that one, I'm in the red. Yeah, up like a couple thousand.
Okay.
It's not bad.
As a percentage, what is that like? 50%, 1%?
Oh my gosh, doing mental math is not easy.
You don't have to do that. If you don't know, it's fine.
I can't tell, but I'm dipping in red. And I'm not proud of that.
Yeah, I mean, like I got some stocks where I'm down 90%, but I'm
Yeah.
down like just a couple of bucks because I personally don't buy that many individual stocks. I have a gambling account. This is what I call it. It's not gambling. I don't recommend it. But I have a Robinhood account and I put $50 a week in there.
Oh wow.
And that $50 is just for if I have a hunch. If I just feel like there's some money to be made. So I do like options trading. I'll buy that stock that seems flashy. I have my convictions on some certain thing and then I'll just say like, I'm gonna buy that stock. But it's only $50 a week. So over the course of a year, it's like what, $2,600, which is a lot of money, but it doesn't feel like a lot of money because it's only $50 a week. It's only
Right.
like 4 Bud Lights.
But it adds up.
It adds up. It adds up. Yeah. It's actually a lot of money now
Yeah.
because I've been doing it for years.
Wow.
I've been doing it for years and it's a ton now. It's probably like $20,000 or something like that. But it's still just $50 a week.
It's not a lot of money in the beginning, but
not
like
like-
when you put it in that perspective that you're disciplined in setting aside a certain amount of money into this sort of piggy bank of money that you use to invest, I think it will add up eventually. Just like you said, it's been 20,000 plus, right?
Yeah.
So I think having that sort of discipline and responsibility with money and just like good foresight with how you use that money, it does go a long way.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I have this separate account because I don't use my actual brokerage account is just for long-term investing. So I buy, I don't sell, I stay super rigorous with it. But this is just like, oh, it's just my gambling account, you know?
Yeah, it's like a hobby.
It's like it's my hobby. Yeah. Everybody, I subscribe to Wall Street Bets. Do you use that subreddit?
No, I don't.
Everybody's losing money. Why can't I join the party?
Wow, don't let them know that. Don't let them know your secret.
So yeah, so NIO won't buy it.
No.
Or apparently it's
going
cheap
up.
now.
It's going up actually. Yeah, NIO is going up slowly, but it is performing quite well.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what my convictions are right now? I buy energy ETFs.
Oh, nice.
Energy ETFs because with the AI boom,
Oh, I see.
they need a lot of energy, a lot, specifically electricity, right? And so all of that future cash flow, some of it is baked in, but I think there's gonna be a lot of upside. And when at the end of the day, there's gonna be winners and losers in AI, and even if AI is a bust, they're gonna have these long-term contracts with these energy companies because they need to build power plants.
The data centers.
To power the data centers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I try to do my best to invest in like greener stocks.
Okay.
But obviously you do have like a couple ones out there like MU and Nvidia. So
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
MU?
MU is like Micron.
Okay. Yeah.
They just had like a partnership with Nvidia, so that's why their stock was booming. So yeah, I bought that stock when it was like 140, and then it dipped to 120, but now it's like 180.
Oh, and you hold?
I hold.
Always be holding.
Yeah,
Always be buying.
exactly.
I have 2 rules for investing. Always be buying, never sell.
Yeah, the NIO one really hurt me a lot.
A lot?
Yeah, that was like I bought it when it was about like $28,
Okay.
and it dropped down to like $4.
Yeesh!
And I bought like 1,000 of it,
Oh my goodness.
and yeah, it's slowly going up. So I'm still in the red, but the other stocks are making up for it.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah. Dang, that hurts.
I know.
I'm
It does.
sorry.
But
But what are you planning on doing with all this investment money? Are you gonna buy like a house or a condo or start a
Yeah.
family, put your kids in private school, have more than one kid?
Yeah, I would love the money to just grow.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would love to buy property, but have to look a little bit more closely at mortgage rates. But yeah, I would love to make sure that I have enough money to build a family and kind of think about future, whatever that money would be used for.
Yeah, but like money growing is such a generic thing to say. Like, if you had the money, what would be your first immediate goal? Like, what is the goal that you're trying to achieve right now?
The goal that I'm trying to achieve right now is to make sure that I have enough money to buy property.
Okay.
One of my main life goals is to be able to buy a house for my parents and for them to be able to live comfortably when they retire, for them to have a garden, a backyard that they can do for gardening, and just to say thank you, for the things that they've done for me. And to raise me, to provide me a roof over my head and just warm meals and the days and the moments when they take care of me when I'm sick. So, it's something that I want to do for them to just say how grateful I am in this lifetime for them.
Man, that's really sweet.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And you guys are living now in an apartment together?
Yeah, we're renting for a moment.
Okay. Is it rent stabilized or?
Rent stabilized.
Oh, so you have like cheap rent.
Yes.
How cheap we talking here?
Less than what most people would pay.
Oh, you.
I can say less than 2K.
Okay, it's less than 2,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to make all the right financial choices. So any way to save money is a lot of how Asian people think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm part Chinese, right?
I'm guessing from your last name, yeah.
That's why I started a money channel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Talking about careers and money.
Where's your money tree? Huh?
It's right there.
Oh, sweet. Gotta zoom into that later.
I know. I'll show you guys my money tree. One of these days, I'll give a tour of my apartment. I wanted to ask you. I've got 2 more questions for you. The first is, what's the best piece of advice that someone has ever given you?
Ooh. The best piece of advice that I've received is to reframe your mind. And that is about when you have those negative moments in life, right? Don't wallow in those negative moments. Don't think about, oh, how my life is so tough, how my life is so difficult, but kind of find the silver linings of, being in this difficult time. Like, what are some things that you can be proud of, right? Sometimes you can be in the ugliest hole that you've dug for yourself, and you think that you may be a failure, right? That everything that you do is so not you. It's something that you can always do something better. And I think being able to reframe that mentality to something more positive, thinking about what are those positive affirmations that you can give yourself, right? What are something that you're great at doing? You those pick me up moments that you give to yourself will go a long way to help you make sure that you dig yourself out of that hole that you've been in, and to be able to think more positively about yourself, improve your own self-confidence and your self-esteem. And I think that has helped me a long way to become a more resilient person than I could ever imagine myself to be.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, everything I've learned about you this entire time has led me to believe that you're an incredibly resilient person.
Thank you.
I do definitely believe in positive framing of things, right? Like seeing more so, not just seeing the glass half full, but even looking at failures as opportunities, right? Like one of the things that I say, even in my own personal life, especially because I was dating for such a long period of time, is that like rejection is redirection, right? There are things just that are not meant for you. Or there are things in life that you have to push just a little harder to get if they are meant for you, if you believe and you have the conviction. I'll send you this video later, but there's a great story from, I think his name is Michael Krasinski, the guy from The Office.
Yeah.
That's his name, right?
Well, I know who you're talking about.
Sure. But he has this great story where he went to become an actor and he was about to quit. And he went to just one last audition. And that audition was for The Office, and he got the part and then became like a superstar. But he was ready to quit.
Yeah.
And you have to just truly believe in yourself and be able to push through the hard times.
Yeah. That's another great advice too.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank
I
you so
have
much for having
one
me.
last question for you.
Yep.
If you could give me just one book recommendation, what would it be?
Becoming You by Susie Welch. That book talks a lot about frameworks to how to find the career that you want and need,
Okay.
or anything that you matches your values, and just being able to be your authentic self and be able to work at a place, at a job, at a function, at a industry that truly represents who you are, right? Oftentimes there are people who just do things for the sake of, I need to do something, I need to earn money, and that is actually not something that they enjoy doing.
Right.
And you only have one life, and you don't want to be in a position where you're regretting a lot of the life choices that you've made, right? Thinking about 30 years in, let's say, being an accountant where you hated your job for all that time, and that's a disservice to yourself and just this one life that you have. So her book really talks a lot about, what are some of your values, what are some of your aptitudes, what are you good at, and where is that opportunity, that place where you can make money. And in the middle, she calls that where those three things converge, your area of transcendence. And that is where, your values, your whatever you're good at, and how can you make money out of those things. So that can be applied to be anything else other than your career, but her book specifically also touches on that as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
I would recommend that book.
The point of transcendence.
Yeah. That's what she frames it, the area of
I'll
transcendence.
have to give this one a read, actually. I'm in a moment of transition in my own life.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it sounds like a fantastic read.
Yeah, I would definitely give it a read.
Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for
I
having me,
greatly
sir.
appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, William Liao.
Subscribe.